Oh, that hurt. This exhausted gentleman before you, we'll call him Ed, just finished a 20-mile long run, marking the end of the buildup of his marathon training. What he didn't realize at the time was that the ordinary aches and pains he expected to feel and that he was feeling after running this distance would soon evolve into something much more worrisome. That instead of taking a rest day the following day and getting right back into training, he'd have to start shuffling days on the calendar. He'd also spend the first half of the week frantically searching the internet for things like foot pain after running, foot pain on ball of foot, what is Morton's neuroma, and signs and symptoms of a stress fracture. Ed, as we now know him, would spend the first of 3 weeks of tapering wondering if he would be physically capable of running his first marathon in less than 3 weeks. Perhaps more surprising than all of this was that after all the research, the Facebook messages to other runners suffering similar symptoms, the half-dozen phone calls, the last-minute doctor visit, the negative x-ray, and the countless hours spent worrying, his marathon chances may have been saved by a sticky piece of felt. Remember this guy? Yeah, he needs no introduction. He's a dummy head. After cutting his strength exercises short Tuesday night, he decided it would be a good idea on Wednesday afternoon to go out and run 2 miles. He made it about 1.5 miles before feeling like his foot might fall off, ran the rest of that run, and then hobbled 1 mile home. Spent the night on the couch with ice on his foot, and then spent all of Thursday and Friday trying desperately to get a doctor's appointment. Thankfully, he called Friday morning to find out that somebody had canceled their Friday afternoon appointment. That leads us here. Hi guys, so a little update. I was initially scheduled to have my foot looked at on Thursday, September 21st, but I called earlier today to see if I could get a referral for an x-ray before that appointment, just so I had some idea going into this weekend, which is supposed to be a 16-mile long run, as to whether or not I have something broken in my foot. And they said that no, they couldn't do the referral before the appointment until the evaluation, but they actually had a cancellation this afternoon. And so I was able to just a few minutes ago go in, have my foot looked at, and they were able to order me an x-ray right there. So I went down, this is all in the hospital, and had the x-ray done. And so now I'm just waiting on the results of that to tell me whether or not I have anything notable going on in there. I guess they can tell me, this is what the physician's assistant told me, was that they can tell whether or not obviously something is broken, but that they would also be able to see signs of Morton's neuroma, which is the other big concern that I have. From an x-ray. So now I'm just going to be checking my email every so often over the rest of the day and hoping to hear something back, and hopefully it's good news, obviously. But plan right now is I'm supposed to run 16 miles tomorrow. I don't have any expectation that that's going to happen, but I am, however, going to do all of my pre-run prep wake up early in the morning, run through everything I would normally run through on a race day, and try to get out. I'm supposed to be getting metatarsal pads in the mail today, so I'm going to apply those to my insoles and hopefully try to run a few miles tomorrow with those, hopefully without pain. So everything I do tomorrow is going to be based on whether or not I'm feeling pain while I run, and if I do, I'll just have to cut it short. And right now I'm at the point where, we're 16 days out from the marathon, so my concerns at this point are twofold. One, I want to minimize the amount of pain that I am experiencing on the start line, because unless I have a chance of doing irreparable damage to my foot, I'm still going to run this race. While at the same time, I also want to minimize the impact to my current level of fitness over the next 2 weeks. Whether that allows me the ability to run a couple of miles here and there, and do strength training and stretching, that may be all I can do. But it's all going to be based on how tomorrow goes, and we're just going to go day by day at this point, because my peak phase of training is over and this is all tapering at this point. So I think the expectation is to try to get in as much work as I can comfortably, and then, like I said, get on the start line on October 1st and be experiencing as little to no pain as possible. That may be that I have to take an ibuprofen right before I start running. I've never run having done that, so we'll just see. But I'll update you guys once I hear back about the x-ray. They may all order an ultrasound too, so we're gonna wait and see on that as well. But I'll catch you guys up as soon as I know more. Thanks, guys. So long story short, on Saturday, I woke up a little bit later than I anticipated, just because I didn't get a very good night's sleep on Friday. I was constantly up and worried about whether or not Saturday was going to go well. So I woke up, put the metatarsal pad on my right foot, went out for a walk. The walk felt great for the first mile and a half. So I decided to try to jog with it, and I was able to jog for another mile and a half, but unfortunately I didn't fuel or have enough breakfast to be able to run any further than that. So I came home, sat for a little bit to see if any pain would come up, and none did. And so later that afternoon, I had a little bit of a window of time where I could go out for a little bit longer run. So I actually went out for about an 8.5 mile jog, and that felt great up until the very end. I started to feel a little bit of ankle and knee pain, which was completely unrelated to the foot issue, and I just decided to stop there, because I think now that we're in taper phase, all these little aches and pains are sort of creeping up out of nowhere, and so I'm just going to run until that happens and then just back off. So that's more or less what happened on Saturday. One other thing I wanted to mention is that you've probably noticed by now, I love running, and just as much as I love running, I love telling stories. And so I'm hoping that you'll consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. And again, I'm going to post weekly updates all the way through the marathon and beyond. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a comment, and I will be responding to every one of them. So thanks again for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate your viewership, and we'll be in touch in the next week or so. Take care, guys.